Hey, my name is Aries and I'm documenting my journey to get fit-ish. This is my 3-month alternate day fasting video update, so stay tuned. Okay, so I have been doing alternate day fasting for 3 months now. I didn't make it this far the first time around trying to do alternate day fasting, so this is super exciting that I've been able to maintain doing this for 3 months. This is new territory for me. And I no longer can reference the first time around to the second time around because I don't have data points. Pretty obvious. So it's exciting that I am now into new. I can get rid of that comparison because this time around I am doing things much differently. I'm being more flexible. I am being more adaptive, and I am adjusting as I go. For this time around, when I first started, I was allowing myself to still have calories on my fast days. If you watched my last video, I did decide that I was cutting that out. So this whole week has been my first week on this time around that I have stuck to just water. And I am excited that the fast days have gone much better than expected. I work a very interesting job that requires me to be very alert and on point and focused for my entire shift. So part of the reason I was allowing myself to have my tea with milk and sweetener in it on my fast days was because I thought I was going to need the caffeine in the tea to be able to keep me going for the shift. So I was worried about cutting it out because I thought it was the only thing getting me through. But this week, I finally learned that is not the case. It was a fantastic week. Yes, I was more tired than usual, but I'm finding now when I have the tea on my eat days, I'm really getting affected by the caffeine because I'm not having it every single day. I was also getting to the point where I was going overboard and having like 3 or 4 teas on my fast day because I told myself it was okay, so I guess quantity didn't matter. But when you actually add up how many calories are in 2 milk and 1 sweetener, it was a lot. So no wonder I wasn't doing the greatest on my fast days. I was still making improvements because let's be real, cutting out food is a huge part of this, and that still makes a big difference. But it wasn't allowing my body to do autophagy, which is like where your bad cells regenerate and die off and then new cells can replace them. So you're constantly like making the body better through autophagy, which I think is pretty awesome to include in the process. And I was kind of always giving myself those like insulin spikes by allowing myself the sweetener and the milk. So my body was kind of always never really adapting to getting at my own fat. Now it did a little bit, but you know what I'm saying, okay? I'm not a scientist. This isn't, I don't know all of the ins and outs of how cells attack each other and what eats what. There's no like food chain chart for inside my body. But just know that on your fast days, you will see better results by cutting out everything. So since it is my 3-month update, and I'm actually doing it on the 3-month this time, I didn't like fudge the numbers and then do it a week late like my 2-month video. So that being said, the changes are 1 week less because I did all my measurements, and my last big weigh-in at the 9-week mark instead of the 8-week mark. So now it's 12 weeks and I'm doing another big change. Also, a big note is 2 of those weeks in this past month, I was on vacation and I allowed myself to give up alternate day fasting for the duration of my vacation. I started it off with alternating still. I got 2 fast days in, and then I just decided it was too much for everything that was going on with my life. It was my birthday. We were doing renovations. We were having friends over, and it was becoming too much. So I decided to give myself some grace, give myself some break, and allow myself to just eat. I did it mindfully, intuitively, and I tried to make sure that I didn't gain too much weight. In my last video, if you watched it, you did see that I did get as high as 228 point, I can't remember, I think it was 0.5, something in 0.6, something in there, 228 anyways, point something. And that was on my very last day of vacation, or like the morning that my vacation ended, and I was going into a fast day there. And then I was able to drop down to 225.3. So that was my last weigh-in for last week. And that was a huge drop in just one day, which was pretty awesome. So I was excited to go forward and get this week in with the 0 tea on my fast days and just stick to water. There was one day I did do a green tea, and it made my stomach feel a little like uneasy. So I just like chugged regular water as much as possible, and it did make that like uneasiness go away. But it's just something to note that like I didn't really enjoy the way it made me feel. Green tea is supposed to be like an appetite suppressant, and it is supposed to be very good for you, but I guess on an empty stomach, it just didn't sit the greatest with me. So I haven't done that again. I have literally just done water. And yeah, so I did do measurements. Not a whole lot of changes. Again, it was only a 3-week period, and I didn't do alternate day fasting for a week and a half of it. So realistically, I'm not surprised I didn't see changes. The only which one is it? Yeah. Literally everything stayed the same except for the measurement around my belly button. That went down by 1 inch still. So, I mean, and realistically, if I'm going to lose weight anywhere, my tummy can take it. So that was the only place I lost by 1 inch, and everywhere else stayed exactly the same. So, you know, that's part of taking a week and a half off, and I'm okay with that. It is cool that I still went down a little bit, so, you know, I'll take my wins where I can. And then overall, I did end up just feeling better this week. It's been a great 3 months, and if you haven't been watching my progress so far, I've been trying to do this very sustainably. So I'm not strict. I'm not doing, you know, every other day. I usually do 3 fast days a week, and then 4 eat days. And then every so often I'll give myself, you know, a break, and I'll do 2 fast days a week and 5 eat days. And I think this is what's needed for me personally to, 1, stay in it, and 2, not resent it. I think if you become too strict with it, and then you start losing out on family functions, or, you know, just not listening to what your body needs, because sometimes your body just knows it can't handle a fast day. And that's okay. Now, obviously, when you first get started, you do kind of have to push through that feeling a little bit. And I'm not saying that every fast day is like super easy and that like it's just, I breeze through it. But I also know that like it's okay to switch up a fast day and make it an eat day. It's okay. This is a lifetime change, not just a sprint to the finish line, because those sprints rarely ever last long term. So I want this to be the last time I do this journey. When I get to the finish line, you know, my goal weight and my optimal body size. I want to maintain that for the rest of my life. I don't want to have to do this again, barring if we ever try and have a kid again. If you don't know, I had a miscarriage, which is what stopped me from doing the alternate day fasting the first time around. So if we do ever try again, obviously I'm going to put on weight having a kid, and then I would have to get that back off. But that's a different type of journey in my mind, and I think in most people's minds. But regardless, I'm trying to make this alternate day fasting sustainable, long-term, and it's going to take me a while. So I don't care that, you know, I switch a fast day up or whatever may be, because this is about the long game. And I think that is the healthiest mindset to have. Personally, I'm not saying any other mindsets are wrong or that I couldn't be better. I'm just saying this is what's working for me, and I am enjoying the process. So I'm sure you're all waiting to find out what the actual weigh-in was, and I am pretty excited. So last week, like I said, I weighed in at 225.3. And this week, I weighed in at 221 pounds even. This is such a cool feeling. I mean, there was a point where like the scale dipped down into like 220 point something, and then it jumped back up to 221. And I literally got off the scale and then got back on the scale, got off the scale, tried to like, you know, go pee again and then get back on and it wouldn't go lower than 221 even. So that is what it is. Sometimes the body, you know, the scale's just that little, you know, snarky, here's what you could have had. But I'm very, very happy with 221 even. And that is a 4.3 pound loss from last week. So I am pretty all right with that. Like 4.3 pounds in a week is incredible. I am feeling fantastic. And this is, like I said, a sustainable long-term thing that I am enjoying. So, yeah, if this is something that you're interested in starting or you've just started, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Honestly, knowing that other people are doing this style of fasting and this lifestyle along with me is fantastic to know. And I love hearing about your guys' successes as well, because you guys motivate me on my hard days. There's so many times where I'll think about, you know, struggling through a fast and I'm like, no, you know, like I read that comment about, you know, somebody doing their fast and making it through, and it's very motivating. So thank you for leaving your comments, for being part of my journey, and I'm glad that you're including me in yours. But that's really all I have to say. So, I do have side-by-sides. So again, because there was only a 1 pound loss, or a 1 inch loss. There's really not going to be much difference. But this is from the very start at my heaviest of 237.5 and down to now the 221. So, yeah, that's the side-by-side. Almost forgot about that. Sorry. That's part of the monthly weigh-ins. You know, I'm not professional. I'm still learning how to do this. But, yeah, hopefully some, like, physical changes are starting to become apparent. I know that's, like, the last part. Like, it takes that part of things to be the longest to actually be visual. But, yeah. So that's all I have for this month or this week. And if you haven't been checking out my Monday videos, I've just released a pretty awesome video about my 1-2-3 challenge. It's pretty intense, and I'd love to know if you guys have checked it out. So check out that video, and then this is a playlist of all of my other alternate day fasting videos. And then if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because clearly if we are seeing me for the second, third time, the universe is telling us that we should be together. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like. It's a little thing that you can do to help out my channel. And thank you so much for joining me for another video. You are absolutely incredible. Giving you all the love. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you on the next one.